Hello, 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 and welcome back to a special 2-episode edition, since we missed last week's, of RHAP's We Know Reality TV RuCap here on RHAP. I'm one of your hosts, Beth Dixon. I'm excited to break down both episode 5 and episode 6, part 1 and part 2 of the talent show extravaganza with Aman Adwin, as per usual. Aman, how are you doing? We got 2 weeks of Drag Race to catch up on for our listeners and our viewers. And I think that, this was a really solid couple of episodes to talk about.
Florida done got us again, baby.
The Electoral College of Florida makes a showcasing in these 2 episodes.
Yes, the Florida propaganda is strong with these past 2 episodes. But I'm good. I'm glad to be back and talking all things Drag Race 18. And yeah, I think we have an interesting set of episodes to talk about. Right off the bat, I've never really been a big fan of Rate a Queen, but when it comes to the talent show, which I feel like is such they all end up doing kind of the same thing anyway. I'm kind of like, you know what? Fine. If y'all just want to be shady about the voting because you guys are like all doing the same kind of thing anyway, then, I feel like it's a nice little offset for the lack of variety with performances.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting is I really feel like these 2 episodes showcase Drag Race's willingness to understand that people who are in competition reality shows are, specifically their drag queens, are clamoring for some kind of strategy position to try to outdo and outmaneuver people when clearly when you have a more subjective competition that is based off of how people are doing in their performances, it's always nice when the queens feel like, oh, I could rely on something other than just other people's perception of my talent. And I think for a few queens, it really worked out for them this time. And I think for a few queens, it desperately didn't work out for them in terms of strategy. How do you feel about the Rate a Queen in a normal season like this versus an All-Stars?
It definitely was interesting given, kind of what we were just joking about with the whole Florida thing of it all, because at least with All-Stars, these queens kind of understand each other. They know what, each other bring to the table. They have established relationships. So in some ways it makes it interesting because we get to see, what are the social politics of drag outside of Drag Race with these queens. This time around, it's kind of like, okay, you knowingly cast a bunch of queens that are part of the same drag family. You knowingly cast a bunch of queens that are from the same geographic area. And then you put a Rate a Queen in there. It's like, okay, you're asking for things to happen a certain way. So it's like, is this just manufactured drama to drum up animosity towards the Florida queens, or was this just like an oversight? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I mind it.
Yeah.
I just obviously, if you're casting queens of a certain, persuasion, it kind of takes the intrigue out of how they might normally vote if it was strictly based on talent, or if it were just strictly based on like, who do I connect with more from my cast, even though I barely know them.
What I like, and we get a little bit of glimpse of this in episode 6 in particular, is that especially with Michelle kind of randomly coming out and just talking to the queens, we get a good sense that production wants them to vote based off of anything other than how did the person do in the competition. This is clearly a production strategy to get drama, like you said, and I'm not necessarily mad at it because specifically with this cast, this is a cast of people who have a lot more drag experience of live performance underneath their belt, of being in the drag industry with other queens. They know how to read, they know how to take it for the most part. And actually the queens who I feel like who can give it and take it are mostly still in the game. And the ones who can't take it are at least providing some entertainment in the fact that they can't take it, So I genuinely think that it's a smart move for this specific cast for production to do it this way. But it's also interesting just given that I was fine with it until the Michelle Visage visit of it all, because what essentially happened was it was clear that production wanted Kenya in the bottom, right?
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have Michelle come out and only say one negative constructive critique pointed to one person and then make the whole episode about, or for that person's storyline, Kenya, about whether or not does she know all the words to her own lip sync. And spoiler alert, no, she doesn't.
She doesn't know the words.
I mean, okay, Aman, I have to say this. Okay, I think Kenya Pleaser is such an effervescent, like charismatic, fun queen. But bitch is sloppy around the edges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I truly, truly, truly feel like, why did production just be like, you know what? You guys vote any way you want, but also Kenya doesn't know her words. Okay, guys, it's good to know. It's good to see you. Bye.
Right.
And then everyone's like hyper focused on one.
Literally
queen.
whispering to each other, Michelle and RuPaul. She had a hard time lip syncing.
Why was she lip syncing the core? Which I have to agree with them. Why the fuck
I
would
would
you
send her home but we're not judging, so
I guess not. I guess. I don't know. If only somebody were the host of the show and the namesake and could, like, change it or whatever. But I don't know. Power's out of our hands here. It just seems so wild to me. Like, that just seems like interference and a level that's like, if you're gonna let the queens vote for who they want to, then just shut up and don't interfere with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Drag Race gonna drag race. Let's go.
At this point, it kind of just, we've come to expect these type of shenanigans, and if they are looking, maybe they are looking to just implement more social strategy when it comes to the show in general, because Traders is in its prime era right now. They have dethroned RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race for Best Host and Best Reality Competition Series. So I think they understand that the formula is kind of not the tea anymore. So I guess giving it a bit of a strategic edge is maybe what they're trying to go for here. But I think that if that's going to be the case, it has to be something that is kind of like throughout the season and not just a couple of episodes. You need to really kind of like, if you're going to go there, then you kind of have to like really go there in order for it to be an effective change. Right now, it just kind of feels like something just tossed in for the sake of it being in there. Does it give us some drama? Of course, yeah. And was it entertaining? Yeah, it was. I like to see how everyone tries to maneuver their way around this big Florida electoral college, as it were. So,
and that's a good point. Let's talk about that, because there's some players in this that I really truly didn't feel like would be like really strategic. But Sierra Mist, for example, campaigning hard, especially in episode 6, to try to give her the best opportunity. As we know, at the end of episode 5, she is considered the bottom queen. She's voted the bottom queen. She has to go up against whoever's the bottom queen for week 2, and then they will lip sync to see who goes home. She is like, I'm not gonna, if this is gonna turn into a social strategy game, then I'm not just gonna sit here and just see who gets last place. And I gotta give her a lot of props for that, because I think there's a lot of queens that would have been like, well, that's just what it is. And since nobody else seems to be wanting to align with me, I guess I'm just gonna like sit here and practice my lip sync. No, she took an active role in what would be her last episode.
Yeah, no, she was whipping, finagling, trying to ensure a certain outcome. And yeah, I mean, that's the strategy you have to take. I did enjoy her performance, and I'm glad that she sort of like doubled down on it later on, saying like, look, like, I know that this show, we often want to laugh, we often want to be carefree, and this show is escapism for a lot of people, but I really wanted to, just bring something else to the table. And I thought that maybe is it the boom cat that we're used to? Is it like the ducking and diving? No, but like, I think that it was still pretty impactful. Can we talk about Zara Larson as a judge? I know we're kind of
please. Yes. No. This is okay. Listen, y'all. First of all, we missed a week. We're gonna be all over. We're gonna ADHD the shit out of this podcast. So, but Zara Larson, go for it.
So good, so insightful, like so in on the joke. Like, the critiques were measured, kind, but honest. snarky,
Very Swedish.
from a very Swedish, from a certain point of view. Just I really enjoyed her. I was like, please come back. It was like the same way that I feel about Dove Cameron. Like, I feel like they just get it. They like know what to like look for, what, you know, what's good, what's bad. Like, it was so fun to watch her watch the show and like be with us as like, you know, as the avatar for the audience, but also just like really enmesh herself in the competition of it all.
You know what I liked about her the most is that she seemed to, like you said, she was a good bridge between who we normally see on the judges table and the audience, right? Like she was able to not be against the judges while also providing a really good perspective that those of us at home who don't do drag would appreciate. Now, that said, Zara Larsson, when you get a pop star, obviously there's a little bit more drag involved in her day-to-day and her professionalism and such, but I just felt like she was really insightful. I totally agree. And what I thought was funny, and I'm so sorry, I was rushing this morning. I did not remember the punk judge's name. Amy, maybe? I forgot.
That Amy Discord is definitely her name.
Okay, Amy.
Yes.
And I am so not in the punk scene, so I don't really know the band. I got to tell you though, I'm so thankful that we have punk presence coming to the main stage of Drag Race, both with Discord and just especially with RuPaul's beginnings of drag being centered in the punk scene. I think that this is like a really important perspective to bring onto the show. But what I thought was interesting is that you have RuPaul bringing in somebody who is an actual icon for who is tattooed on Discord's body, right? This is so cool. But I feel like they just didn't validate anything she said. Like anything that she said, they pushed back on, and I wanted to be like, you have a punk princess in the building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we need to remove the mainstreamism that we take of this and listen to what is this niche opinion that she has, because that's why you bring a judge like her on. And I felt like they didn't really honor that with her. I felt like she was quieted.
Yeah, I feel like there are some judges that appear on the show that are obviously not like super like involved with the drag race community, drag in general, and they just kind of just offer their like honest opinion of like, oh, I liked this about their performance. Like they don't want to be mean because like, you know, this is an audience that they're not familiar with, so they just come in and try to like, you know, say something positive about everybody. You know, which I think is needed. But yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes when that happens, I feel like the other judges then feel the obligation to be like, yeah, but this is why they sucked. Like.
And that's why I loved like when Cynthia and Ariana were on last time. They were like, "No, screw you guys. This is how we feel." Like I love when the guest judges have that much agency, but for someone like her who's not necessarily in the mainstream anyway, it's got to be a lot harder to toe the line because it's almost like Drag Race is like corporate drag in a way, right?
Yes, like, very much, very much.
But
you can get fired from Drag Race.
Yes, you can. We've seen it time and time again. But let's go back to the strategy portion of this, because I do feel like, you know, we talk about the Florida contingency, but let's actually talk about the Florida contingency. With this drag show, it starts off in episode 5 with specifically Mia, Juicy, Athena kind of sitting down and going, okay, well, we're basically family. Well, Juicy and Athena are definitely family. Mia's like the auntie who's performing in the same circles and clubs and such, and has done a lot with Juicy. And we see in episode 6 and such as well that Mia, in the very beginning of episode 6, Mia and Juicy are like, or Juicy says, Mia's been somebody who's been looking for opportunities. She's invested in my career. So the fact that we both won the lip sync at the end of episode 5 was a huge monument for us. But basically, they're trying to figure out how can we finagle the math so we can make sure that one of the 3 of us, if not all 3 of us, are in the top one of the 2 weeks. And I'm not mad at this, Aman. If you're going to get the opportunity to be strategic, you better rely on those alliances. And I'm also stoked at other people trying to come in and be like, all right, let's try to make the Wham Glam Alliance. Anybody who was on our, which didn't happen, by the way, it was like watching an all women's alliance, but when you're in a drag competition, there you go. It's all women's impersonating alliance or whatever. I just felt like all the queens got in on this in some capacity, and I kind of like that. Oh, Aman, you are muted on the in StreamYard.
Oh,
there you go.
No. A comedy of errors is happening right now.
You're all good.
Yeah, no, you kind of have to like match the speed of what the deciding body of queens are doing, and I liked that we have like a little bit of resistance as far as Jane Don't goes, being like, girl, I'm not a part of this governing body. No taxation without representation. Let's resist. Let's get something else going on here. And the politics surrounding who was going to go first so that there's enough votes to carry over into like the second round was very, very interesting, very contentious. I love the waffling with Nene and Can You Pleaser. Like, it was just a bunch of like, no, okay, I'll go first. No, no, yeah, like it was just like girl.
Which is so fascinating too. So what ends up happening is that the queens who decide to go in the first group are mostly the dancing queens. So you have Juicy and Mia and Nene, and you have all these people who are going to have high energy and also technically really good dancers. And Nene, the reason why she's waffling back and forth is that she's trying to decide, do I want to compete with these people and be in this group, or do I want to be in the second group? Why? If you know that you can pull out what you can, would you not choose to go in the opposite week of Mia and Juicy? Why does she choose to go in the same week as them? Because, and I'm going to say this too, that obviously if you've got two dancing queens who are part of generally the same family, even if it's not like quote unquote blood related, drag blood related, why would you at least not try to go in the opposite week? I really think that if Nene gone in week 2, she would have been voted in the top 2.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it was just a thing where it boiled down to, maybe we didn't see it on screen, where it was like, they were like, girl, your talent is going to be fine. It's going to get you to safe. Just take the L and have the risk of not winning against Juicy or Mia, and that'll be it. Because yeah, I mean, we get to see it, in episode 7, where she's like, well, damn, bitch, I probably should have gone this week instead, because I probably would have won. So, because, yeah, I think that her talent was definitely underrated. Definitely a favorite by the judges. Like, they made it a point to be like, really like Nene's performance, but it's Raider Queen week, so...
And this was a viral performance that she's had and she's done before she got to Drag Race. I will admit that I had not seen this online. I don't know if you had, Aman.
I had not seen it. Was it Jane Don't that was like, it's nice, but I've seen it before? Well, bitch, we haven't.
That's the one thing. But to Jane's point, if this is a queen voting situation, the queens likely have seen it, but they didn't know that ahead of time. So why would if they said, hey, the queen, the talent show extravaganza is going to be Raider Queen, I don't think Nene brings Praying Mantis, right? I think that she's clearly a very intelligent queen. She's got that Denver out of the box kind of drag, but she has like a level of polish with her looks and her dancing and that kind of thing that she's obviously very, very in tune with what she should or shouldn't do, right? And I just think that like that's just an example of somebody saying, I probably wouldn't have done this. I find Jane Doe, I'm just going to say this, so interesting because on so many levels, I identify with her as like the theater queen kind of person. And I love that kind of drag. It's my personal favorite kind of drag, right? And I love that I normally agree with what she's saying about the voting contingencies, or like maybe Athena having a little bit of an inflated ego or things like that. I'm totally here for. But I also kind of love when her ego gets put in check herself. Like her line at the end of episode 2, when her and Athena are about to lip sync for their life, and she says, I feel very confident it's a punk song, and Athena's dressed as Donald Duck. I lost my shit. And then when she loses that lip sync, I lost my shit again, because I just thought it was so funny. Like those are the kinds of things and like little tiny little hubris moments that actually aren't going to affect how she does in the competition. But I also like when the queens I'm rooting for have a little bit of like an ego check as well.
The incredulous look on her face when she lost. And then cut to the diary room. I'm surprised that she won.
I also love that she's like, she looks like Donald Duck. I was like, girl, you do not look punk at all yourself right now.
No, you don't. You're lucky that Michelle didn't rip you to shreds for being in green and also doing something that is of the same time and era of Marie Antoinette. Like, come on now, girl.
Hello. That's the thing. It's so funny because then Michelle, of course, is like the one who makes it a priority to say how much she enjoyed her runway. And I'm like, you had all the things there to say that you didn't like about it. But I agree. I thought it was a cool runway.
I did too. I think she looked amazing.
So let's kind of go through the talent competition and what people did for the talent. So I'm going to bring up the slideshows. Now, first of all, we want to thank Drag Looks as per usual for putting these up on Instagram, where I then take them and
Drag Looks.
Come on, Drag Looks. Go follow them on Instagram. We every week, I'm so thankful that they have put together these really nice images that we then rip and put on here. So thank you. I also want to say, like, so what I've tried to do with the slideshow is I've put together the week 1 people, the 6 queens who competed in part 1, and I generally tried to place them in what I believe the voting order was. So we're going to start off with Juicy Love Dion, who ends up being in the top 2 and goes against Mia Starr, and they both tie with the lip sync win. So they're both considered the winners. I have their for those that are watching the Drag Race podcast, we have the runway looks, but not the looks of them in the competition or like in the talent show themselves. So Juicy comes out and she does a high octane, but like one of the most graceful high octane performances I've seen of an original song that she then just performs the house down. Aman, I truly think Juicy is a rare talent of how she moves her body. There is something that she just owns with every speck of makeup on her face, every way that her body moves, every little millimeter. She owns it all. I am so captivated by her. I could watch her dance and such all day. And she, to me, was the obvious winner of the group 1. Like, I just felt like it was going to take a lot for somebody to beat her in my eyes.
The true definition of sickening. Like, I think that we are getting to a point now where, and I hate to say this, but like, we're all getting older, right? Like, constantly.
Yep, my body feels it.
And it's to the point now where I'm looking at people manipulate their bodies in ways that I used to be able to. Or used to be able to attempt to. And I'm like,
I can't even think about it without hurting myself.
Like, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think just she has such control of her body, and that number was so fun, so energetic, so just like bam, pow, whoop, wow, like just like it just didn't end. Like every time you thought that that was it, like she would do something else that would like take it further. And that's the type of like wow factor that you need. So yeah, you know, use your strengths. She relied on that body, and
Let
that body did her well.
if you're going to come on a talent competition and do an original song and perform it, you better have the Juicy Love Dion level of being able to perform that song. Okay. Because
Yes.
if you don't, then you have to have another gimmick. You have to be able to have comedy. You have to be able to do burlesque. You have to be able to tell some kind of story. You have to have reveals. You have to do something. But the fact that she can just come out. Also, I love the outfit that that she was in. It was almost like if Alien were in a Drag Race promo outfit, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
just looked so interesting with the pink and the black, and it just, to me, it was just beyond. It was incredible. And I liked that her song wasn't about her like coming to take the crown and putting it on her head and turn it all around or whatever. I love that it was just her being a bad bitch owning the stage, and boy did she. The runways for both of these weeks, the first week was a satin runway, the second week was
Not
shake
today,
shake shake, not today's satin, and the second one was shake shake shake. And I thought both of her runway looks were really strong as well. I loved the like mohawks and then matching the skirt in the second one, a very different kind of body shape for her that we're used to seeing, which I appreciated. And then the first one, it was like as if they took the Courtney Act sleeping bag look from season 6, but like made it like a really cool flower that she's coming out of or something. I just love the structure of it. I love the color. I love how she matched her hair and the makeup. She is quickly becoming one of my favorite queens, Aman.
Yeah, it's nice to see from some of the younger queens. Like I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes like the younger queens like face such a bad rap for simply being young and being of a new era of drag, being social media or bedroom queens. But I think that she is like showing that like no, the kids are actually all right. Like the
Mm-hmm.
recipes are not being lost. They still live within us. And she's carrying on that legacy, and she gives a damn about this performance. It's not like just someone who's young and just wants to be famous. It's someone who like lives and breathes the art of drag. So yeah, not today's satin look, amazing. Shake, shake, shake. Not my favorite of the shake, shake, shake looks,
Agreed.
but serviceable. And bitch, she was sitting safe. So, you know, if there's a week to phone it in a little bit, not that I'm saying that she phoned it in, but like for her, fine.
The way that she made her outfit shake, shake, shake on the runway is something that a picture won't capture. And I think
Right.
that to me is what really sold it, because again, she just knows how to use her body. No, I'm just such a big Juicy Love Dion fan, and I have a feeling that if I ever saw her perform live, I don't think I would be able to function as a human being properly the next day or
I
ever.
think is she like a winner potential? Like I didn't see it at all in the first couple episodes, but now I'm like, ooh.
We should talk about this at the end of the episode. I want to hear who you think the top 3 or 4 right now in the competition are.
Okay. Okay.
As we continue to discuss this, because she to me is somebody I could absolutely see that, or I could see her being completely robbed in like 5th place or something like that. But she doesn't give me robbed goddess energy. She gives me like I'm going all the way energy right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the other winner, Mia Starr, who comes in and also did a pretty high octane dance performance. As we remember, she's been on tour with J-Lo and is an insane dancer, clearly has a lot of hip hop in her repertoire as well. I'm going to get a lot of flack from this specifically because we did have somebody who reached out this past week and said, if either of you don't think Mia should have been in the top 2, I'm going to be mad. I am not saying I don't think she deserved to be in the top 2. I'm saying because I had not seen the praying mantis before, that had a couple of other things that I personally connect with more that would have put her in the top 2. That said, if Mia Starr did that in front of me, I'd be poor. I would have no dollar bills, no $5 bills, no 20s, 50s, hundreds. Not that I ever have hundreds, but in this case, throw them all at her.
Also, I don't know how you live in New York City and attend drag shows, because let me tell you something. I was in New York last weekend and I went to a drag brunch. Bitch, the amount of times that those queens came to your table.
Let me tell you. And it's not like going out to brunch is cheap on its own. at this point.
Exactly. Like I'm already paying for the food. I'm paying for the mimosa, and you are over here like constantly asking.
And you know what's funny? So I've been to a few of those. The ones that are like really, really touristy almost. It's like the queens barely do anything now. They just kind of go up and do like a half-ass performance and then they're like money. And it's what's great about it is that I'm not knocking that because the people who are mostly going to like the really commercialized ones are the ones that are like, hi, Kathy. What if we went to a drag brunch today? Oh, like it's like people who are not normally involved in the drag scene.
Mhm.
But what I love, love, love is going out to a show and just seeing the most bonkers thing ever and having people pretend like they understood what happened and just being like, well, you know, here you go. Here's all my money. That's the part about New York, especially with Brooklyn drag. That I
Yes.
love the most. You go to $3 bill, you see the weirdest thing you've ever seen, and people being like, yeah, I totally get it. It was like so in my soul. That's why I gave them all of my money. I'm like, okay, keep it up with the Joneses tip style is a lot of fun. So with Mia Starr, how did you I got to tell you, my favorite part of her performance is the snatching of the color blocked wig into the shaved, like, or like not shaved, but like the really tight curl top that had the same color block underneath. Love. I was obsessed with that reveal.
Yes. It was like snatching it down to the roots. It was very like it just reminded me of like middle school, like just middle school dances, and you would
Yeah.
have these girls that were like either on the cheerleading team or on like the dance squad where they would just like give it to you. It gave me such like bitch black girl energy. Like, and I
See,
loved it.
as a 90s girl who grew up white in the country, all I could hear in the background is ba 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 ba. Are y'all ready for this? She's like freaking out. I'm like, hell yeah, you better give it, girl. Like that's the kind of energy that
Yes.
I went to school dances with. And I
Mhm.
also agree that I got to see that represented. What a wonderful performance where Mia brought together white and black culture.
I think like even if it wasn't the most eventful of like the tricks and the dips and the dives, I
Mhm.
think just the energy of it was what sold it to
Oh,
these judges, right? Like I just think that
1000%.
it was just like this is someone who is like living in their body,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was just fun to watch. It was just fun to watch.
It was,
Plus the breastplate with the titties, like yeah.
listen, I love a good titty shake, and she's got powerful ones. So, I do think that they both deserve to win the lip sync. I felt like both of them did a really strong job in the lip sync for the win. And it was really fun to see two Miami queens who clearly work together and get that little backstory, like I mentioned earlier. So I am not mad at Mia Starr being in the top two. I personally probably would have ranked her third, but that does not mean I'm mad at her being in the top two.
Yeah.
Next, we have Nene Coco, who did the praying mantis routine that we talked about. And then she had this like satin look that I'm going to be honest, I'm not here for. I like that it's so abstract over the top and that kind of thing. I just, at what point is it an outfit? You know what I mean? And that's where
Mhm.
both of these looks are so interesting. And I'm going to argue that I love the second one so much more for different reasons. But this first one, I'm not mad at it. I just wasn't anywhere near one of my top favorites in the satin runway.
I disagree. I kind of like the first look a lot. Like
Go for
it's like I love the rouging of it. I love it's giving kind of like Starry Night. I appreciate that.
it. Yeah.
And we've kind of already talked about her talent show performance. The praying mantis of it all was definitely more impactful, I think. Like when I think about this talent show for season 18, I just can't stop thinking about the visual of her like ripping
Yeah.
the head off. In the same way that I can't stop thinking about the visual of Mikey Meeks ripping her finger off. Like it was just like it was visceral. It was like bitch shock you, but like in an artistic way that makes it drag. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Her second look for the shake, shake, shake. Yeah, the thing that I immediately thought about was vagina. Like
Yes.
in the same way that Ross did. Like I see it. I see the labia. I see the lips. I see it all. Like
I
I live.
and the little nice little clit on top of her head, right? Like
Exactly. I live. Flick the
I
bean,
love
honey.
I love it. And I love that it's kind of like Club Kid. I love that you also have aspects of playing with sculpture that's moving. Like I genuinely agreed with her that she is a visionary. Okay, she truly truly is. And I am in no way saying that I don't like the first one. It's just not one of my favorites for that runway. This second one, this to me is the epitome of drag. I do think that obviously labias and vaginas and such were inspired by this look. And I love that. Why not on a show where people are normally dressing as another gender or something? Why wouldn't you try to bring some power to the vagina? I'm here for it. And I loved just how different. I would not have expected that from her so far. And I think that that's why I'm enjoying her on the runway a lot. Um, I also the fact that she did like back handsprings and flips and such in those heels, like stiletto kind of heels, like a thin heel. That was not a chunky heel there. Like I was really really
Mm-hmm.
impressed with her routine, and it just had a couple of different levels. Like it had a humor, it had some heightened like, oh, where I'm learning about a praying mantis, even though that's like really not the point. It just was a very interesting, unique perspective that I felt like, since it had so many interesting aspects to it, should have been in the top two itself. But I think Nini for me is somebody that I could see go really far in this competition.
Same. I guess we're kind of like
Ooh.
unburying the lead for
I
who we
know,
think
I
is
know.
going to
We're like,
be.
we're gonna summarize it at the end at this point. Then we have Darlene Mitchell, who had a comedy song about getting screwed and nailed and all the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I thought her performance was a lot of fun, but I also agree that it kind of just lacked in areas. Like it could have been bigger instead of just holding a saw or just acting like you're being taken from behind. Like, is there anything more that we could add to this to match what you're doing vocally on the track? Right. I felt like the performance itself was a little lacking and that the song carried it, which it was funny. And I love the perspective. I don't think she should have been in the bottom. I think that she was safe and that was fine. I I I don't like the runway, the satin runway. I
Yeah.
ugh.
I love Darlene Mitchell. She, I think, is the one that I'm rooting for the most to take this home. I it felt like it was trying to go for Stinky the Starfish energy with Trinity the Tuck.
Yeah.
But like it was just uneventful, honey. Like
Yeah.
we know that RuPaul loves the absurdity of it all. He lives and thrives and dies on not taking things seriously. But I don't think that she took the performance anywhere. It was just, I'm here dressed up as a carpenter, lumberjack, whatever the fuck, and I have a prop here, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
recite a couple of lyrics that talk about sexual puns with drilling. And it's like, okay, all right.
You know what to expect from the beginning, and even if the pun is not something you anticipate there will be a pun.
Yeah.
Right? And you have a
Yeah.
general idea what it will be around. It's either going to be nail or screw or something like that, right? Compare that with Jane Don't in week 2, who was all about innuendo and then did the like Alaska Thunderfuck All Stars 2 Mae West thing by just saying fuck me in the ass, which is like taking it from being subjective to just saying it out loud. Like, you didn't expect it. Even though you knew there was going to be a joke and what was funny, you didn't expect that was what she was going to say. You thought it was going to be something about the janitor and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. So that is what I'm talking about with the difference. You have Jane Don't, who, even though we know we're getting comedy and that we're going to laugh, we don't know what she's going to say. Darlene buried the lead immediately, and we knew exactly what all the puns were likely to be. And I think that, to me, is the difference between the comedy songs.
Yes.
I gotta say, though, I kind of live for the second outfit.
I loved it too. I loved it too.
I don't think the judges liked it, but
I don't know why they have a problem with her shoes. I love the shoes. She is going for a certain time, a certain era, a certain essence. I live for it. As Ross said, tinsel across the board. Yes.
It was so good. And I love the Club Kid inspiration. I love this is something different we haven't seen from her. She just has a very different perspective on pretty much everything that I just so appreciate. And I like that it's not always inherently serious. I like that she takes something serious and makes it a little wacky. That's the kind of drag that I appreciate the most personally.
Yes.
Next up, in episode 1, or episode 5, I mean, we had Vita Von T Star, who did kind of a lip sync performance around the idea of a workout. And I'm going to tell you straight up, this to me should have been the bottom.
I could have died, came back to life, filed my taxes, died again, and then came back to life before laughing or smiling at this performance. Girl, what was going on? What was going on?
I love Vita Von T Star's look in her face so much. And I like the little kernels of strategy and her ability to people read like we've seen. But I don't get a charisma from her.
No.
There's nothing about when she's performed, whether it's been in RDR Live or in this talent show. And the thing of the talent show is like, that's something you practiced and brought to this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be meaner about the talent show than I normally would be. This is something you prepared. And I just was like, there's no jokes. There wasn't any impressive body movement. Nope. Your face was blank and vacant. You looked beautiful, but like that was also basic as hell. Like it was just like a little workout gear. Like, I don't know. Like, I just really genuinely felt like at least Sierra did something creative. You know, that was kind of my general feelings with her. For the runway, I thought she looked beautiful. That color, that emerald green with the gold and that like red hair on her.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. This was one of my favorite outfits for the runway for sure. And I felt like for her second week, the flowing runway, did this not just feel like what she put together for the challenge she won 2 weeks ago? I was like, is this not what you just constructed? But I got the reference with Whitney, and I liked that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the reference of Whitney is fun. I think that's kind of like what saved it. I was like, this is very pedestrian, but okay. You reference Whitney, so okay. I'll give you the points for that. But yeah, the performance was very run of the mill, very, very, very phoned in. But you know, I mean, she's given it to us with the runways, I guess.
Yeah.
For one half of these. I don't know, Vita. I need a little bit more from you, honey. I just need. I need more. It's not giving. It's not giving.
Don't you get a sense that she's shrinking herself like behind the eyes just a little bit?
I do. It does feel like she's a little shy to
own her talents.
Right.
If it's on the runway, she's there. She's owning it. But it's like
I think she's hyper aware of being one of the older queens, quote unquote older.
Yeah. I think all it takes is one little scare of being in the bottom like this.
Yeah.
Well, on like a regular episode where the queens are being judged or whatever, for her to really, because it's not like any of them heard the critiques this week, right? Or last week, I mean. So this will, I think, like getting told, you need to step this up in these ways. You can still be true to yourself. If you're not the most dynamically, like, emotionally emotional person. Like, you don't need to like be like, yes, mama, gaga, oh, and go all over the place. We don't need that
Yes,
energy.
Gaga, slay, mama.
Let's go. But you can absolutely own the presence that you have. And I feel like that's the one thing that we don't get when she's performing, is her just saying, I own the space that I'm taking up right now. It feels hesitant. And I'm hoping that she snaps out of that, because I truly think if she snaps out of that, she's a contender for the crown. And if she doesn't, she's going home sooner than later. And I don't want her to go home, because I think she's got a lot to show.
Yeah.
And then the bottom of the first week we did see was Sierra Mist, who we talked about, came out and did a pretty moving, I thought was a moving performance and poem. She later discusses what it was about. I understand, like, hey, you're opening up the show and now you're doing something really serious that sounds like you're hating yourself and you kind of look like Bones and all this, like, it seems weird and that kind of stuff. But I feel like that's what the vast majority of drag is that I see when I go out to local performances. It's people doing performance art in some capacity using drag, right? And there's a part of me that I'm not liking this trend of saying that's not, I don't get the message, or I don't like this on the main stage. I felt like this is different than Megami, who like basically just held up a sign and said something. She at least performed and put her whole body into it, and it was like almost interpretive dance-esque with it. That to me is powerful.
Yeah, no, I thought that it was better than what was rated. Like, she starts off the poem by saying, like, I hate myself today. And I'm like, oh, I get the reference to season 5. I hate the
Yeah.
world today. Like, I got it immediately.
Yeah.
But I guess, as she was saying, like, maybe it's not what the queens want. It's not what the girlies want. We want, like, effervescence. We want light and laughter. But she was someone that was like, I'm going to go the other way and like remind us that like life kind of sucks sometimes.
Especially within the LGBTQ community, right? We're at a time where we seem to be fastly regressing progress that we've made over decades and centuries. And the fact that this was inspired by a friend of hers who took her own life and probably was experiencing gender and body dysphoria and all these different kinds of things, it's just, that to me is art. And I understand if that's not what the queens want to see on Drag Race, but I also kind of want to sit back and want to charge the queens to say, hey, could we try to maybe show people what drag is about? If production and producers and everybody has kind of lost that path because they get to make money on this and they've made it somewhat mainstream and corporate, I like when things go against the grain. That said, I understand it being not maybe as entertaining, right?
Yes.
So I'm not mad at her being in the bottom. I just don't think I appreciated the like, I didn't really understand it. I'm like, well, I got it immediately.
Yeah, no, I
So
think you can definitely understand it if you give it some fucking time. But
I have to say I liked her first runway outfit. I thought it was really cool to have like the pants with the dress, and this kind of like devilish look. The second runway, girl, what are we doing? There's no shape. You it I don't
shake,
know.
girl, shake what up? Like that's what I kept thinking. Like,
Girl,
what's
what booty? Which hips? Right? You need padding here because it's going to help things shake a little bit. Like, that's what I wanted. And I love that she went on the runway and had fun, because she was like, bitch, I have to lip sync no matter what. So girl, go for it. But that's also the outfit that you're choosing to lip sync in. To Toxic, by the way. So I don't know. I just, things like that. If I were her, it doesn't matter what I do for the runway. Let me choose something that's going to match Toxic. That's what I would do. You are the most, if you have to be in the bottom, this is the week to be in the bottom, because you've had days to prepare for this at this point. So do yourself a favor. Who cares what the runway theme is? Come out as something completely different and say it in the thing. It doesn't matter what I wear on the runway today, and I would have worn this other thing, but considering I have to, you know what? You were so strategic. This is the one thing we would have been like, girl, yes. Screw the prompts. Go do whatever you want, because it's not, no offense to you, because I think that Sierra really does have like an incredible drag sense, but this is the one week where, if that's what you brought for Shake, 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 I'm sorry, this could have stayed in the closet. If you had something that was like massive, I understand wearing that.
Yeah.
This could have stayed in the back. Okay. You could have gone for something else that could have been a better fit for the song.
But I agree.
All right. So she is unfortunately eliminated in the lip sync, but we will talk about that after we move to part 2, and we have our lip sync and challenge winner for week 2, Athena Dion, who did a lip sync song where I thought I was going to be learning things about Greek culture, and instead just got basically like tzatziki. I was just like, what do we do? Orso. And I was like, what? You're just like, naming things we all know. Like,
we know that. How about a little bit more?
I'm excited to teach you about my culture. Tzatziki. Like Mediterranean food. I was like, what are you talking about? And like, I'm gonna break a dish at the end. What she could have done is she could have said something. She had it set up to where the rhyme on the last word could have been dish, and she could have just broken the dish instead of saying the word, and that would have been cool. But then she said something like wish and broke the plate, and I was like, girl, come on. You couldn't even do what? I'm sorry, I did not like this performance. It also felt like I'm here to snatch the crown, and the lyrics were bad. It wasn't catchy. She performed it well because she has good stage presence. But girl, where are the jokes? Girl, where is the culture? That was just like, let me take everything that's stereotypical about my culture and just say 1 or 2 word phrases about it. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know.
It's giving Athena was cast because her kids were cast, but that's okay.
You said it. Mm-hmm.
I do like both runways. I think that the Not Today Satin is very velvety and very just like luxurious. And I did like the
eyes
of it all. The quote that she was referencing in Greek where it says, I have 28,000 eyes, was very interesting. I'd never known that before. I guess the Greek people are very suspicious and they all put eyes on you. Good to know.
Eyes, whole
if I'm ever trying to date a Greek guy, constantly, I guess the whole world is Big Brother, I guess.
Well, that's, I mean, my introduction is once again, white girl, I mean, in an area of New York State.
Come on, New York State.
Come on, New York strip steak. Where even like there's not like an abundance of Greek or Italian people where I'm from, right? And I think it's so fascinating because she clearly has everything to do well in this competition, but she's allowing her ego and her reputation to compete rather than herself. That's what I truly think is happening. I don't think, unless she had rigged it, that she would have been voted in the top 2, unless, I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked if like that was the kind of performance that live people really, really appreciated. I just felt like with this particular group, it was nice to not see queens only quote unquote lip syncing to their songs, or at least doing something different on top of it. I loved like pulling the bow and pretending to play like and doing that kind of stuff. I think that there were definitely smart aspects to it. I just like overall think like, okay, the song wasn't that great. I didn't really learn much. I got to see some Greek traditional dancing, and I loved that she got to talk about being a Greek professional dancer growing up and such. I thought that all of that's really important, cool. Love these runways. Both of them are amazing. Definitely want to give her high marks for that. But I don't know if I would have put her in the top. I actually think I would have voted for her to be like 4th in this group.
Yeah.
But she won the lip sync, and now all 3 of those Florida queens who rigged all the voting, it all worked for them. So, and to be fair too, they didn't win because they rigged it. I mean, maybe Athena did, but the other 2 didn't win because they rigged it. They brought it. That's why they got the first 2. Jane Don't was also in the top 2, and she did another comedy song that she sang, and I couldn't tell, Aman. I watched this twice. I think she was singing live because they say that her talent was singing. And at first it sounded like it was live, and then it sounded like it was recorded. And I'm like, I don't know what this is.
I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Because it sounded very like overly produced.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, maybe.
They were like, her talent's singing. Okay, girl, then sing live.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was more so like talking and like it was I appreciated the story that went into it. It's something that really engaged you. The Mae West of, who's gonna fuck me in the ass if the janitor doesn't come. Like it gave very much like, I know what RuPaul wants. I know what Ru likes.
Yeah.
I know what Ru wants. Like it was giving very much that. And I absolutely love the week 6 look. Oh my god. It's so fun. Good. It's so fun. I love it so much. Even if it's like diarrhea shit green, it's so damn fun. And
does not want me to be great. It keeps pausing me.
As background, Aman's technology is fighting him today, and we're giving the technology the grace to live who they need to be in this moment, even though they're cramping our style. All right, continue.
Be who I want you to be right now. Anyway, I just yeah, no, I love Jane Don't. I'm gonna stop talking now.
No. Well, see, what I loved her performance. I think we've talked a lot about it already. But I gotta say, what I think I like the most about the second outfit isn't just like the color and the structure and all that kind of stuff. I love anybody who's showing off bare legs or what looks like bare legs in a body that is not rail thin. Okay. I will always say how much I appreciate that, because it is not, both as a woman and as a woman who's curvier, bigger, fatter, whatever. I can't tell you how much Drag Race is the thing that has often allowed me to go, well, let me just try wearing this pair of shorts out and see if the world ends, and it's little things. Now, Jane Don't is not a big queen by any, she's a stockier person, but that doesn't mean that she's like fat or anything.
Yeah.
But those legs are not necessarily like, when people say like, oh my God, you have the best legs. Those are not legs that would quote unquote go into that category normally by society standards. But I think she looks good.
I think she looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. Girl, you gotta work on your song interpretation and your lip syncing skills, girl, because you got beat, bitch. And it wasn't a fluke.
I also love that her whole narrative, so far in the season, but definitely this episode as well, was like, I don't know, the girls are like probably not are gonna vote for me to be in the bottom and everything. And like, nope, they are voting you in the top. So what I really hope this helps Jane understand is, now that we've seen the voting, or actually next week we're gonna see who voted for who, but now that we've seen the voting, I hope she gets out of her head of like, the girls don't like me because I'm winning.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that this is a theme that I identify with, that sounds egotistical, and that's how in my brain, I'm always really hard on myself when I'm like, oh, I did something well, or I made someone laugh, or I did these things, and I get excited to talk about it with people. That I always feel like I'm being braggadocious or egotistical or those kind of things. Or if I do well, I always feel like people are waiting for the other foot to drop with me.
Yeah.
And I understand that psychology. And I just really hope that this is validating for her, that she doesn't have to worry about that. Because number one, who gives a shit if the girls don't like you? Or they clearly do. They clearly like her. Like, so that's not an issue. But number two, if you're doing well in the competition, yeah, people are going to want to bring you down, but they had the opportunity to put you in the bottom, even though you did really well. And instead they still chose to praise you. So that should not be a concern in her head moving forward.
Yeah. No, very fair. Very fair.
All right. You got to talk to me about Discord Adams here. Because Discord had some very interesting reactions to strategy that was trying to put her in the bottom for week 2. I am loving the Discord arc over these 2 episodes, Aman.
It's so interesting because like she and the judges are making it very aware and like part of her story that like her walk sucks, but like they like it in a weird way.
Yeah.
And you know, her insertion into this cast feels like such like a thing that's like mixing them all up. They don't know exactly what to do with her. I really appreciate her presence on this. This is another one of my, I guess I'm spoiling it, one of my dark horses where I feel like, bitch, you're gonna be at the end, because I feel like you get this competition in through a lens that like maybe most people don't. So I don't know. Do I have like a small little crush on Discord Adams? I don't know.
Be the
maybe.
first. I do.
Okay.
Both in and out of drag. What I love, she does not have the same look every time.
Not
there are
at
times
all.
where I go, which queen is that? Oh my God, that was Discord, right? She can transform, but yet at the same time, there is a through line of this like punk anti-capitalist kind of thread that you can see in most of her looks and most of her runways and that kind of thing. We definitely see it with these 2 looks. Her satin runway. I love this idea of like bringing down the patriarchy through, or not the patriarchy only, but like the hegemonic powers through the press, right? When we know that the press is like one of the most powerful things against, or that regimes have. Like, just going to say it the way I personally feel about it right now is that most of these major networks are propo machines by our current government. And so when you come out with something that's supposed to be so elegant and beautiful that shows off that quote unquote higher class, socioeconomic class, but it's covered in newspapers and burned, that has like that burning, loved that outfit. I gotta say, Aman, I wanted to slap Ross Matthews across the face and then be like, girl, but like not hard because it's Ross Matthews. He literally said, when you come on the stage in a men's suit, I don't know, I just feel like it should be dragged up. Bitch, what man is wearing it like that to the Oscars, to the office, to anything? Oh, you're muted again.
Agreeing with you hard. We're not doing this fucking milk shit again, okay? Like, it was drag, it was amazing. It was a commentary on CEOs and all the blood they have on their hands and the weight that capitalism places on you. Bitch, it was drag. It was a political statement. Ross, go do something, bitch.
Yeah. This is I love what she does. Everything is a political statement. And when you come from the punk world, when you come from drag, like most drag artists are going to tell you drag is always political. RuPaul will tell that to you, right? And so I love that we have a queen who like really embodies that in a way that we really haven't seen too much of, or with this perspective on Drag Race. Her song is the only one I can remember. So I want to give her massive credit because I've been going, guess I wrote another drag song. It was it sounded like the 1960s, 70s punk movement from the UK. You could hear the Sex Pistols in that, right? Like you could hear aspects of it. Now, it was very obvious she wasn't really playing any of those instruments. That would have obviously elevated it. But she also clearly does know how to play those instruments too, because it wasn't like, as a musician, I can't stand when people take like a clarinet and start going like and like not actually doing real fingerings. I'm like, at the very least, pretend like you're doing something, like learn how the fingerings work on that clarinet. She clearly was doing the right drum beats. She was clearly doing all the right things, but it was and I definitely think that it was missing some kind of extra wow factor to it, but her look was flawless to me. The song was catchy, and it was showcasing her musical ability in 1 minute. I absolutely think she deserved to be safe.
Yeah. No, I do too. Yeah, I just I think that she has like such a unique perspective on the drag scene, which, you know, I guess to some of her discredit, maybe it comes off a little pretentious at times, a little too much counterculture at times, but I think it's sincere. I think she's honest, and I think she likes what she's doing. And like, you know, finding her way in this political landscape with this cast and trying to like team up a little bit with Vita, you know, it's like, girl, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So.
I also got to give her major props for playing the strategy game as well. Because so she was, after hearing that Sierra was saying I could do well in a lip sync against Discord, she was like, okay, I'll play that game too. So she started pretending that like Britney Spears was like her icon growing up, so that maybe Sierra would get like nervous about maybe having to lip sync against her to a Britney Spears song. Like, I love those little moments, and I could tell that it didn't shake her. It just emboldened her with her performance, and those kind of things. I just think that that's really awesome. I didn't know what to make of her in the first couple of episodes as someone who's seen her on my Instagram feed and such before the season, but I really like how different of this character arc we have for her. Can't wait to see how she does. Kenya Pleaser came out in a couple of beautiful outfits here. The first one, I got to dock a couple points off because this was borrowed only by Jane Don't and then like somewhat changed here. But I also understand that like this happens. Like this is not the first, nor will it be the last time that a queen wears something that somebody else brought and they were able to make it work for something. But I just kind of feel like when you added into her not being able to lip sync her own song, it doesn't matter how cool the butterfly look is, it's still a corset with tights. Like, I don't know, Aman. I feel like she's not long for this competition.
She's gotta go. I don't have much more to say about Kenya, only than like, can you leave? Like, I just, that's mean. That's mean. Look, I love her. She's got a great personality, like everybody says. But she's half-baked. She's just half-baked. You just need a little bit more time, sis. You need a little bit more time. You need a little bit more like discovery over like what it is that makes you unique. Because I just don't think that she knows who she is quite yet. And I feel like everything that she's worn, everything that she's done, feels like a repetition of things that we've seen before. So you just need more time, sis. That's fine. Like, you're still a talented person. We still love you for days, but like, you just need more time.
I'm still gonna like, if I ever see that she's performing down the street,
I will go.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. I know that bitch is gonna have funny commentary. She's gonna be entertaining as hell. I mean, I just feel like there are sometimes Drag Race isn't the best platform to showcase skills, and I feel like this is not the best platform to showcase who she truly is as a drag artist. That said, great place to showcase I got a good personality, so come out and have a good time with me. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. I would have put her in the bottom of this group because I agreed. I mean, I even agreed with the judges where she was just going at one point. They was so obvious when she just like, I don't know the words. Let me head shake.
Words.
Let me do it again. Now let me stick my tongue out. And I was like, okay, if you did the words while you were doing the head bops, then stuck your tongue out, one thing. But the fact you didn't lip sync any of the words and then you stuck your tongue out, girl, you did the song. And I understand her also saying, well, it's a lot. I'm trying to focus on the performance and I'm trying to do this stuff. But it's a lip sync. The lip sync has to be the first thing you think about and then fill in the body.
Yes.
But
yes.
Oh, Kenya. All right. And then we had Mikey Meeks, who actually landed in the bottom this week. She did a zombie burlesque comedy number, looked like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Bride of Frankenstein. I absolutely loved this number. They're haters. Fuck Florida. It was great. It was jaw-dropping. The fact that the judges were like, we want more, only proves to me so you liked what she was giving because you wanted more of it. I absolutely loved it. And she was unjustly placed in the bottom, and I'm so glad that she did not go home. I am sad for Sierra for going home, but not as pissed off as I would have been had she gone home. As far as both looks are concerned, I love the illustration of the Not Today satin look. It is very whimsical, very just like, oh, it's so elegant. It just elevates you in your spirit. And then the zip ties look for week 6. It's okay. It's all right. Maybe that's what contributed to her being in the bottom, although I don't think she should have been that low down to begin with.
I love the second look a lot, especially with like it looks like little, what are those little tiny sprinkles supposed to on the like headphones and such, like the way that they bejeweled it made it look like those non-perils or something. I always forget what they're called. I don't bake. I'm sorry.
Orbeez? No, not Orbeez.
No. They're sprinkles that you make that you could put on like ice cream or on like cookies or whatever. But they're non-peril, like the little. You guys are all gonna scream at me in the comments.
Oh, I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
But it looks like she has sprinkles like on her headphones, right? And it looks like it just looks like a really fun like roller skating outfit or something. I don't know, like it's just so unique and different. I loved that part, and her first outfit gives me like if Kim K was surrounded by lovely water in that like champagne kind of dress, like it's that kind of look, but like the satin making this incredible structure to like frame her is incredible. She should have been in the top 2 in my opinion of this episode. I felt like it should have been her and Jane in the top 2 if they had done it by. But it was also interesting. There were people like Darlene who didn't like it. I was like, Darlene, this is right up your alley. How did you not like her performance? And I understand, some people, I did feel like, okay, we could kind of see like the boobs a little bit before you like removed it. And like there were parts like that I totally get, but it was off the wall, but totally zany in the best of ways. She was really engaged with it. And I thought her runways were great. So I don't know. I felt justice for Mikey. I'm happy that she didn't go. I'm sad to see Sierra leave. I think that she had an incredible amount of drag to showcase. But I also kind of was like, I have more people in the cast I'm invested in than Sierra. That sounds awful to say. So I was kind of like, okay, well.
Yeah.
But I think it shows for next week that Mikey's going to be quite hurt about the rankings and how she got into the bottom. And I gotta say here, she's a Florida queen herself. She's from St. Petersburg, so she's not from Miami or the other areas that the queens are from. So once again, Florida voted against its own interest. Keeping the tradition alive.
Yes.
So I can't wait to hear how that, if that at all comes up, if it's going to be like, well, if you wanted to keep the Florida girls out, I might not work with you, but I'm a Florida girl. And what? Like, I can't wait to see this. But it's going to be interesting. So, okay, Aman.
Yes.
Let's break it down. Who do you think in this episode or these episodes by the end of season episode 6. Oh my god, I can't talk it. All Aman, kill me. Okay, by the end of episode 6, who are your top 4? The people that you think are going to the top 4.
Jane Don't.
Mm-hmm.
Nene Coco.
Yep.
Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Jane Don't, Nene, Juicy, and Vita, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really solid 4. I have 3. I wouldn't have said Vita myself. I am stuck between Darlene and Mikey, and the only reason why I'm going Mikey is because I feel like we've checked in with her a lot for confessionals and such, and I feel like we're seeing her edit also on the rise because she's about to have some like drama from being in the put in the bottom 2, and I think everybody is pretty much like she didn't deserve to be in the bottom 2. So we also know that the editors like an underdog Phoenix rising out of the ashes kind of story. And so I kind of wonder if that's what we're about to get with her. So I'm putting Mikey in my top 4, but I could also see Darlene, or I truly think Athena's not going to make it to the top 4. I think that she's the kind of queen that they're editing to be like, she goes so far, but like she actually gets robbed at some point, like, or she thinks she gets robbed, but we're all like, girl, you know? So I would have said Athena, but I just don't think I see her going to the end. I think that she's going to have, just like a lot of Greek tragedies, hubris will undo her. You like that shit? I pulled that shit out of reading the Odyssey in 8th grade.
We live. Shout out to the Odyssey that's about to come out with Christopher Nolan.
I know. I'm actually like really okay. We are at a point where I think we need to revisit Greek mythology and tragedies and such again.
Because it's panning out right now.
Hello. Oh my God. All right, Aman, anything else that we didn't talk about? Obviously, these are 2 episodes that were chock full of story and development and that kind of thing. But it also just kind of was a little straightforward in terms of what was going on.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I'm just like still very surprised about the people that go home. I mean, like not in like a literal sense, but more so like I just enjoy everyone. So when everyone goes home, I'm like, oh my God, I saw you maybe lasting a little longer, going all the way. So I think that sparks the conversation around like how all of these queens are very good. And again, that's because a lot of them are a little older and more established in their careers and understand what they bring to the table. So I am enjoying Drag Race 18. This is a fun season so far.
I gotta say, I think that this is one of the better seasons we've had in a few. I genuinely think that there's so many people. I think that someone like Juicy, who is so talented, but is also just so incredibly friendly and likable at the same time. Like, we love when we get people that we can root for in that way, even though I'm also sitting there going, Juicy girl, why didn't you learn how to sew before you got here? I appreciate the younger queen leaning on older queens, but I also get to a point where if that's her entire story, the entire show, then I'm going to be like, girl, like you got to own some things that you can't do as well. You can't always just rely on other people to help you or do things for you. But I really, really like this cast. I think all of them have incredibly unique perspectives that they're not willing to compromise on. And that makes for really interesting dragon television. Next week, we get political campaign videos, which is interesting because they normally do that kind of challenge in an election year.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess midterms.
That's true. We got midterms coming up in November. I meant presidential elections, but you're 1,000% right. Considering we may not have a presidential election again if midterms don't go our way. So register to vote, everybody. And even if you don't think your voice matters, I just beg you, just do it once. Sacrifice one day, even if you have to wait for hours and 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 hours to vote. Please do what you can to get out there and get your voice spread, especially if you live in a state that they're trying to gerrymander your voice away. Your voice matters so much that they're trying to make it so it doesn't, that it can't exist. So that should tell you where it's at.
Think about what that means.
So I also, Aman, I wanted to talk with you about this on air and then get feedback from people in our YouTube comments, or if you want to, respond to us on, I think Aman is on Twitter, but I'm on Blue Sky. Like if you want to talk to us that way, anything like that. And we're on Discord. If you want to talk about it in the RuPaul's Drag Race, RHAP patron Discord, do so. Aman and I would like to potentially add a segment where we ask those of you who are listening, especially our patrons, to contribute who is your local drag queen that you want us to promote. Because we talk a lot about these drag queens who get this platform and then are often able to travel the world or get booked on other gigs and such. And we love that. And it's amazing. But there's so many incredible drag artists all over the world. And we want to hear from you. Who are some of your favorite drag queens that you follow on Instagram or that you see live that are in your area? And what we want to do is maybe prop them up. And so maybe at the end of our podcast each week, we can say, here's a drag queen that comes from Michigan and in Detroit, and this is what their general aesthetic is about. Here's their Instagram page. Go and follow them, and it's just kind of like a local queen shout out. Aman, anything that you want to add about this?
Yeah, no, I think this is very, very well needed, especially in a time that we're in right now. Yes, like this is what it's all about. Like, yes, we're on here talking about the glitz and the glam of Drag Race, but like Drag Race comes from a place that still exists, and I think it's good for us to remember why it is that all of us are even here and able to recognize the artistry and the talent and the meticulousness that goes into the art of drag. So yes, we want to know, like, what does the drag scene look like in your spaces? Like, where do you go? What are your favorite bars? Like, who are your favorite queens? Like, let us know so that we can shine a little light on the people that keep this drag machine going,
1,000%. And we hope to do this most weeks, if not every week. We hope to showcase one drag queen, or maybe there's a really important drag bar that's out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, that is doing really good work. Why not shout out the bar, right? So give us your testimonials, send us any links to social media for those queens or organizations. Give us the reason why other people should follow them. What do you like about them? And then you may or may not appear on one of our podcasts where we shout out you and the queen or institution that you are talking about. So if you're interested in this, please comment on the videos, send us messages on our Instagrams or Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever we want to hear, wherever that you want to get in touch with us. We would love to hear your suggestions. But I also want to encourage, if you are a patron, please try to put this in the RHAP RuPaul's Drag Race channel of the Discord, and I will be taking a look at that weekly as well. We'll choose somebody every week. Aman, I just said all this stuff about having them follow us and such, but where can people follow you if they want to give you suggestions or if they want to keep up with what you're up to?
You can find me everywhere at Aman Adwin. You can check out me obviously here with Beth every week, and then you can also check out me and Matt Ligori over at the Diary Room, where we are getting very, very close to the end of round one for our bracket style competition to figure out who is the best Big Brother player of all time. We are now down to, like, in real time, we are down to the last episode.
Whoa!
Yeah, but I think that we still have like 2 episodes to come out, so we're almost getting there.
How appropriate that you go on to the next stage right in time for March Madness.
Yes, very, very appropriate. So check us out over there. And that's all for me.
Excellent. And you can follow me on Blue Sky at Beth-Dixon or on Instagram at AugustaWind11. we encourage you, it's the beginning of the month, consider becoming a patron, especially if you want to join that Discord and talk with other Drag Race fans who are watching all sorts of different seasons across the world. Now's a great time in the beginning of the month to join. You could join for as low as, I believe, $5 a month, and get a whole bunch of patron exclusives. We would like to thank everybody behind the scenes at RHAP for helping us to get in front of your eyes and into your ears. And we want to thank you all for giving us a listen. We'll see you next week. And until then, bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.